welcome back to my channel. I did a poll on my Instagram and I asked you guys what you wanted to see for my first, my second video technically, but my first video for my channel. To my surprise, you guys chose conception, pregnancy, and postpartum nourishment and why it's so important. So, I got my notebook, got my water, grab your notebook, grab your water, grab your tea. I've got some information for you guys, I really do. I did the studying, so you don't have to. I went through the experiences, so you don't have to, okay? If you hear my baby in the back, he's right next to me. Also, just a disclaimer, I am not a medical professional, and none of what I'm saying is medical advice. I would never tell women, men to do something just because I believe it. You do what you want to do, I do what I want to do, and that's just what it is. I'm going to start from conception onward because I believe that conception is just as important as the rest of the processes of life. It is the start of life. So I think conception needs to have its own breakdown in this video. So some new information has just come out that the sperm is just as important, if not more, as the egg when it comes to fertility. This is major. I think we have been led to believe that the sperm just swims. It's so strong, it swims to the egg, it penetrates the egg, then boom, life is formed. But that's not the case. The strength of the sperm is really important, and the egg is also important for receiving said sperm. So the egg is what chooses what it wants to receive. So just like in nature, there's a species of bird that basically the male dances for the female bird, or multiple males would dance for the female bird, and she chooses which dance that she liked more. And it's the same with our eggs. So the egg is making the decision on which sperm that she wants. And obviously she's gonna choose the one that has the most vitality. Quality of the DNA in the sperm affects the selection process of the egg. So the egg also releases a chemical that determines which sperm fertilizes it, which is wild. To me, that just shows that like the egg, there's like a consciousness that the egg is carrying for it to be able to decipher between which sperm that the egg decides to allow to fertilize it. Okay, I'm gonna read an excerpt from livescience.com, and it's by, it's from a journalist. Her name is Star Vardam, science journalist, I don't know. But it states, 1980s, it was discovered that the egg is the active decider in fertilization. The egg does this by using its zona pellucida, a thick protein coat that protects the egg cell, to chemically grab onto sperm, test it, and then reject or admit its DNA into the egg. So that information is extremely important when it comes to those that are trying to conceive or may have had a little bit of struggles conceiving, because I just feel like we've been made to believe that it's all on us, like as women, just the egg holders, that if our egg isn't strong enough or something like that, then that's why we're not getting pregnant. But it's really on both parties that determines whether or not you successfully conceive. So with that information, I'm going to start off with the sperm. Men, if you're watching this, listen up. Ladies as well, because you need a man to have a baby, so this information is important for us as well. So whenever you are trying to create life, I think it's very important, especially if you're doing it intentionally. Well, to be honest, anytime that you are having sex, you are in the intention of creating life, whether you like it or not. Unless you are actively protecting yourself. yeah, I mean, you can't really be surprised if you do conceive because you are performing the act of conceiving. Sorry if you hear my baby in the background. He did not want to take a nap today. So the health of the sperm is directly connected to what you are consuming, and not just food wise, but also if you are intaking any type of drugs, that goes for Mary Jane as well, alcohol consumption, things like that. Those directly affect the health and vitality of the sperm. These are basically the no's that you should be completely avoiding when it comes to trying to restore your sperm health. No smoking of any kind. I know the Mary Jane, most of the time the Mary Jane that you probably are smoking anyway is not good, so leave it out. Alcohol, yes, this is probably one of the most important things to get rid of when it comes to men and their sperm, because alcohol is nothing but sugar. And sugar is not good on the digestive system. Your gut is really important when it comes to conceiving, and sugar quite literally destroys the gut. Alcohol, a super processed sugar, plus the gut, don't mix well. It just don't mix well. And then if you want, like, you know, that good strong sperm, you don't, just put the alcohol down. That's all, just put it down. Next, excessive heat, like saunas. This one was actually really surprising for me because I didn't know that a sauna could affect the health of sperm. I didn't know that, but the more you know. Processed foods. Obviously, this is like, I feel like this is almost common sense, but I think we all know that food coming from a cardboard box isn't necessarily good for us. So yeah, any foods that have started off as something and then was jumbled up and made into something else, it's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for your gut. It's not good for that sperm. Next, on top of the sugar and the alcohol, sugary foods and drinks. So Mountain Dew is like probably the worst drink you could ever have when it comes to your sperm as a man. No, just no. You don't need any juice, any soda. You need water. As a man, you need water. The next thing, soy. Soy is a big thing, especially for like the vegans out there. The vegan men, like, no soy. Fried food is major as well. When you take a perfectly healthy food and you put it in a deep fryer, you have completely killed it. And what do you think that does to your gut? And then what do you think that does to your sperm? Yeah. Last but not least on the list of no's is toxins. Any toxins that you are ingesting into your body when it comes to household cleaning products, cologne, shampoos, conditioners, plastic, even like plastic Tupperware, stuff like that, the clothing you wear, all of these things affect the balls. They just do. They affect a lot more than the balls, but we're focused on the balls right now. Do reduce these toxic chemicals that you probably use almost every day, if not every single day. There is always a swap of your favorite thing. There's no excuse on why you need this cologne that is completely destroying your hormones as a man and as a woman, but we'll get to that. But for men, there's no reason why you need that cologne because it is completely destroying you. Those household products, that Febreze that you're spraying after you take a poo is destroying you. If you like a certain type of cologne, there is probably, if not a better smelling one that doesn't hurt you out there on the market. Plastic containers, swap them for glass. Your shampoos, your conditioners, I don't know what y'all be using, but the one that I like that you can use for everything is Dr. Bronner's. Look it up. Your household cleaning products, you can make them yourself. lemon, baking soda, some essential oils, vinegar. There you go. So with those no's, if you find yourself that you are already doing all of these no's, you're going to have to completely remove all of those no's and change your lifestyle around. At first, it's going to be a little bit difficult because these are things that you are used to doing, but this is a lifestyle change. It's not just oh, I'm just gonna stop doing this for today and then get back to the exact same thing I was doing. It doesn't work like that. You completely have to strip all of yourself down. Everything that you once knew is no more. It's no longer serving you, especially if there is a goal that you're trying to reach. You're not reaching that goal for a reason. So you're gonna have to change something about what you're doing. And all of those no's, you're gonna have to change that. You're gonna have to change that. Along with that list of no's, here are some yeses. I don't know why nourishment seems to almost feel feminine, like there's a certain feminine nature about being nourished. But men, you guys are so important in the world, and you need to be the runners up when it comes to nourishment. We need that. We need more of this in the world, and it starts with men. You're gonna start consuming antioxidant rich foods, okay? Antioxidants are really, really important when it comes to the sperm's vitality. What are antioxidant rich foods? Those are more fruits, more vegetables, nuts and seeds, and some whole grains. These directly provide vitamin C and E, which protect sperm DNA from oxidative stress. Anytime I hear the word stress when it comes to something, I actively am trying to reduce the stress. So you don't want stressed out sperm, right? So you're going to implement things that reduce the stress of the sperm, and that includes foods that are rich in vitamin C and E. Healthy fats. Healthy fats include fatty fish like salmon and sardines. Walnuts are really good. Walnuts are good for brain health as well. When I think of brain, there's two heads on a man. We all know that. Okay, get that brain health right. Eat some walnuts. Healthy fats are focused on the sperm membrane's health. If you were to look at the Mediterranean diet pattern, I would say hone in on that diet specifically, and that will help kind of guide you on what you should be consuming more of. Next is zinc and folate. So folate is also something that you need as a woman when it comes to the pregnancy, but I'm learning now that folate is also really good for the sperm's health as well. Foods that are rich in folate and zinc include oysters, beef, and if you're going to be consuming any meats, I always say go for either wild caught when it comes to fish, or you're going to do grass-fed, or basically the cow is coming straight from a farm down the street, okay? Beans and leafy greens. Now, those were the list of foods that you should be consuming when it comes to trying to improve your sperm vitality. Now I'm gonna go over some herbs because I think everyone should be consuming herbs, okay? Herbs are God's medicine to us. Herbs are perfect in its natural state, and we all should be consuming something that is perfect in its natural state. So you are going to want to consume more ashwagandha, fenugreek, ginseng, maca root, Tongat Ali. I have no idea, I don't know. But you're going to want to drink your tea. As a man, I love to see a man drink tea. We need more of that. Okay? Now, just a warning for men. When you start drinking these herbs, you are going to feel a lot more manly, I should say. You're going to feel a lot more manly. When you remove the toxins and you replace them with these nourishing, rich foods and herbs, you're going to feel a lot more manly, okay? And your girl is going to have to match energy. Girls, y'all are next. Hold on. Any health issues that you are dealing with pre-conception, you have to start working on healing those issues and ailments. All of these things are interconnected in a way, because you are creating life, okay? And when you are creating life, you want to create life from a state of being healthy. Now that we've gone over the food aspect of things when it comes to your lifestyle and how it could be affecting the vitality of your sperm, my baby is just chatting. I kind of want to dive into the aspects of your lifestyle that isn't just what you are consuming. When it comes to conceiving a child, you want to look directly at what that person is consuming, but also how they are living their day-to-day lives, right? Look at their morals. What are this person's morals like? Are they kind? Do they share? How do they speak to you when you guys are in disagreement? What religion do they follow? Do they pray? Do they fast? Do they read? Are they disciplined? Do they have enough discipline in them to make positive changes in their lives? What are the traits that make them who they are? You know, these are certain things that you want to also pay attention to when it comes to conceiving with the person, because this person you are going to be binded to for life. Whether you like it or not, you should like it because you're making a child with them, but you are binded to this person for life, okay? You are going to be raising another human being with them. Even if you guys were to separate for whatever reason, you still are going to be raising another human being together, okay? Even if that person is somewhere else and the child goes and visits them, that child is still picking up on their traits and morals, aside from what they are naturally made up of from that person. Also, you want to look at what this person's family is like. Who do they come from? What is their family tree like? And this goes for both men and women. Men that are trying to conceive with a woman, what are her traits like? This is going to be the mother of your children. What are some traits that you would want your mother to have to raise you, right? So these are things that you want to pay attention to. Women, the men that you are trying to have a baby with, conceive with, how is he going to be like as a father? That's the type of man that you would want to have as your father if you were somebody growing up, right? How is the strength of your relationship? Do you want to have a family unit? Or can you possibly see yourself being a single father or a single mother? These are things that you got to think about, okay? So that's just a side of, I think, conceiving that we should start touching on more, because it's very important. I think we have gone a little bit too comfortable when it comes to creating life with other people. We need to be very, very intentional about creating life. This is not just some gimmick in the world. This is what makes the world. This is what is making the human race, and we need to be more responsible. I can't help but laugh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we need to be a lot more responsible when it comes to conceiving. We just do. Okay, moving on after my little rants. Moving on to the women. Ladies, I'm about to get on y'all. I'm really about to get on y'all. When I say I'm about to get on y'all, I'm getting on y'all with love, okay? Because I wish somebody was getting on me when I needed it, okay? So, egg health and hormones. Your hormones directly affect your egg health. Your hormones directly affect how you are as a woman. Your hormones are what makes you you. Whenever you are consuming something, you want to take note on whether it is supporting your hormones or it is negatively impacting your hormones as a woman if you are trying to conceive. I'm going to go over a list of no's that can negatively impact your hormones, which negatively impact your egg health. Remember, your eggs are the decision makers when it comes to which sperm that it wants to allow to fertilize. So your egg, to me, I interpret that as my eggs have a certain consciousness about them, a certain awareness where they are able to say yes and no to sperm. I want to make sure that my eggs have a strong awareness, a strong consciousness about them, and I know that whatever it is that I am consuming, that I am intaking, that I am living, the way that I am living is going to affect that consciousness about my eggs. No consuming any type of drugs, okay? That includes Mary Jane, y'all. The Mary Jane topic, it's so true, because the Mary Jane that is out in these streets, I don't know, I just feel like the Mary Jane in these streets is not doing what y'all think it's doing. Okay, it's not. You don't need it for the time that you are trying to conceive a baby. You don't need it. You could put it down. You probably need a little break anyway. If you feel like you're consuming too much of it, you probably need to put it down. Next is alcohol. Yeah, that's another thing. I touched on alcohol for the men. Same thing goes for women. Sugar. We don't want sugar. We don't want no sugar, especially alcoholic sugar. We definitely don't want that. High mercury fish. This one was on literally like every single list that I found when it came to what not to consume when you're trying to conceive and when you're just trying to strengthen your egg health. I don't know if it is the metals that might be coming from the mercury or what, but I know that heavy metals are really hard to detox, and I think that they can bind to the cells. So yeah, we want to stay from anything with mercury. So I think high mercury fish include mackerel is a type of high mercury fish. Some other ones I'm not really sure, but toxins. This one is so major, ladies. I know that y'all love the smell goods and the candles and the air fresheners and the nail polish, the acrylics, the gel. Like, I know, trust me, I know, I'm a woman, I love them too, but unfortunately these things impact your hormonal health so much. Like, honestly, like, I have so much sympathy towards us, because these people, these literally created these things almost like to directly impact our wombs, sell it to us in these pretty packages, and we unfortunately fall for it. But you have to stop consuming them. The perfumes, when you are spraying your perfume and you're spraying it directly on your thyroid, you're spraying it on your wrist, your bloodstream, that chemical, those chemicals in that perfume are going right into your bodily system, and they are affecting your hormones. Your hormones are what make you as a woman. Hormones affect your cycle. Your cycle affects your mind. Your mind affects everything else. Reducing, if not completely getting rid of. I am strict when it comes to finding out something that I have been doing is not working for me. I'm going to completely get rid of it, and I'm not going to miss it. You're going to have to change that thing in your mind that makes you want something so bad and you feel like you need it. You don't need it. Okay, perfume is one of them. You do not need it. I'm telling y'all, like, you really don't need it. Trust me. And you can find natural perfumes. Okay, you can find non-toxic makeup. You can find non-toxic hair products. You can find all of these things. Okay, if you are actively trying to conceive and you have been using these things, look, I'm not even going to try to say they definitely are affecting you, but they definitely are affecting you. They're not positively affecting you, okay? They're not. Be mindful of the perfumes, be mindful of the hair products that you are using, be mindful of the lotions, the Bath and Body Works stuff. No, immediately no. Like household chemicals, the Febreze, the candles, like the candles that you're lighting, it's putting stuff in the air and you are breathing it in. Going right to that womb, okay? You do not want that. You don't want that. Next is the processed foods. Yes, processed foods. Everybody knows the cereals, the hot Cheetos, the cupcakes, donuts. What else? The powdered donuts. I used to love me some powdered donuts, some hot Cheetos, the candies, the sour punch straws, all the things, the lollipops, all that. No. You can find a swap for all of those things that I just mentioned. Yeah, you could find alternatives to all those snacks. Okay, you think I'm not gonna find an alternative to hot Cheetos? Yeah. I am a advocate when it comes to getting rid of all that bad-ish, but I'm also an advocate for finding better-ish. If you need like some sweet, get some dark chocolate, okay? Dark chocolate is so good for you. That Keiko is so good for us. I feel like I need to make a separate video just about like healthier alternatives and like swaps. But anyways, next is stress. Reducing stress is really important. When you are stressed, your womb is tight, okay? That space is tight. And when you're stressed, your body is overloaded with cortisol. And cortisol directly affects the vitality of your womb. So you want to start implementing practices that help reduce stress. If there is something that is stressing you out, get rid of it immediately. And when I say get rid of it, I mean that. It's either you get rid of it or you do something that will help you find a balance with that stress. Next is over-exercising. So over-exercising causes stress on the body for a woman. I think the way that I interpreted this was that, so women have a 24 to like 28 day cycle, something like that. My numbers are probably wrong, but it is around like a month, right? Within those cycle days, you have certain windows where you're gonna have a spike of more energy and you're gonna have dips, right? The way that I interpret the over exercising claim, I think that you should only be exercising within the certain peaks and dips of your cycle. So when you have a strict schedule when it comes to your exercising and you're doing it every day or 5 days a week all the time without having like certain breaks in between, I think that that affects your hormones. I think that that somehow can affect the vitality of your eggs. I don't know. This is just my like intuitive way of thinking, but I just feel like if I am on my menstrual, I'm gonna sit my ass down, okay? I'm not gonna be lifting no heavy weights and doing all that, I'm not gonna be running 5 miles and doing like freaking marathons and stuff like that when I'm on my cycle. I'm gonna go and lay down in my bed and I'm gonna drink some Keiko. So I would just maybe go with your flow, if you get what I'm trying to say. Next is fried food. Like I said before, when you take a perfectly healthy food and you deep fry it in some oil, you have completely killed it. There's no reason why you should be consuming it if it's already dead, right? If it's not bringing you some type of nourishment, it's dead. And last but not least on the list of things that you might be consuming that is a no is caffeine. Caffeine is one of those like sensitive like topics, I feel like, because people just be loving that coffee. You feel me? They just be loving that coffee. If you feel like coffee is something that is providing you with some type of nourishment, whether that is, you know, mental nourishment or physical nourishment, if it makes you feel better, fine, take it, drink it if you want. Maybe reduce it and do your research on caffeine. Okay, so now that I've gone through the list of no's and things that you should be removing from your lifestyle when it comes to the vitality of your egg health and your hormone, I'm going to go through the yeses. You want to maintain a balanced anti-inflammatory diet. I don't even like to say the word diet. Lifestyle, if you will. Anti-inflammatory, things that inflame you, right? You want to get rid of those things. That includes the processed foods, sugar, white, things like flour and stuff like that, like wheat, things like that. Those things inflame you. If you notice when you eat pasta or you eat bread, your belly, you got a little pouch after, right? You feel bloated. That is because you are now inflamed. There are alternatives to those things. You just gotta search and find them. I love pasta. Spaghetti is literally my favorite thing. And I have found alternatives for certain pastas rather than the regular like wheat pasta that you find. The anti-inflammatory diet lifestyle includes fruits, vegetables, lean protein, like beans, legumes, or red meat, maybe like a steak or whatever. But make sure it's like a good quality cow, because you don't want like them cows that be in those slaughterhouses and like just stressed out, freaking standing in their shit, like stuff like that. You don't want those. You don't want to eat those type of cows, okay? You want to eat the happy cows, okay, that are free range, roaming on land, grazing all day. Oh, and mushrooms. Mushrooms is probably like my favorite. Next to chickpeas, mushrooms is my favorite. I don't know, is it considered a protein? I'm not sure. But mushrooms, I believe, are packed with a lot of minerals, and mushrooms make me feel great after I eat them. If you don't like mushrooms, grow up and get over it. I'm just kidding. But if you don't like mushrooms, there are ways that you can still implement it into your diet. Mushroom coffee. There's a little nugget for you when it comes to the caffeine. If you feel like you need coffee, look for a mushroom coffee. Yeah, there's also like lion's mane supplements, things like that. But mushrooms are really, really good for you. Next is omega-3s. Omega-3s pre-conception are really important because you need omega-3s throughout your pregnancy as well. You want to load yourself up with all the things that you're going to need in pregnancy anyway, so I would start doing it now, pre-conception. Omega-3s including fatty fish, so like salmon, sardine, wild caught. Obviously, always go for wild caught. You want healthy fats like avocado. Avocado is so good for you. Avocados are good for your brain, and anything that's good for your brain is good for your hormones. Anything that's good for your hormones is good for your eggs. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is so important. Sunlight. Try to get as much sunlight as you possibly can. Sunlight is very healing. Sunlight literally provides nourishment. If I feel like something is coming on, I will literally go sit in the sun and burn it out, okay? You want to make sure you're getting an adequate amount of sunlight every single day. Just going back on the mushrooms provide vitamin D. If you feel like you're not getting enough sunlight, maybe you live in a environment where you're about to be in the winter season, so sunlight might not be in abundance, so try to implement mushroom. Next is improving blood flow. Blood flow is so important. As women, we are supposed to be warm-bodied. I used to deal with like cold hands and feet, and once I got my blood flow, my iron in check, I am always warm-bodied. I think as women, we are supposed to be warm-bodied. Connect being warm with just that fuzzy, sensual like aspect of the feminine, and yeah, we're meant to be warm. The way that you can improve blood flow is by maintaining hydration, circulation, and doing activities like stretching, dancing, twerking, swimming. I love to swim, not in chlorine. I'm crazy when it comes to that chlorine, but chlorine is a whole nother topic. But I like to swim, try to swim in like natural bodies of water. Swimming naturally puts you in the flow state, and I think as a woman, when you are in the flow state, you are in your natural state, okay? When you are dancing, you are in a flow state. When you are stretching, you are in a flow state. Dancing and twerking, that's major as a woman. When you are dancing, when you are winding it up, when you are twerking, you are moving that space around your womb. You want to allow your womb to move, right? You don't want her to be stagnant, which is why it's important to get your blood flowing and get that circulation going. Another way that you can improve blood flow is by keeping your feet warm. Warm feet equals warm womb. Another yes on the list, which kind of dives into the spiritual aspect of wanting to conceive, is releasing trauma that might be stored in your womb space. As women, we store a lot of our traumas in between our hips. Between your hips is the space that holds life, that carries life for men and women. And I just think that releasing whatever stored trauma, whatever stored emotions that you might have, those need to be felt. They need to be worked through, and they need to be released. There are certain practices that you can do to help relieve that trauma. Includes dancing, swimming, all those things that I just said, as well as some other practices. Another yes, which also is kind of entangled with what I previously just said about releasing trauma, is crying and allowing yourself to release. I think after you cry, you feel lighter for a reason, and it helps to let it go. Cry it out, girl. Cry it out. Whatever it is that you might be dealing with, or whatever, you don't have to remain so strong if you don't want to. If you want to cry, you can cry. If you don't want to cry, you don't have to cry. If you feel like you cry too much, then stop crying. But if you are like me, where sometimes you almost feel like you're not allowed to cry, especially as a mother, it's okay, you can cry. And this will in turn help that space within your womb to allow new to come in. Now, on the opposite end of that is laughing. You want to allow yourself to laugh as well. You want those deep belly laughs. Those deep belly laughs hold a certain vibration, and you want that vibration to be in that womb space. Like that vibration, in holding that within, especially when you're trying to conceive, laugh. Okay, laugh. Shoot, you can even laugh during the act of conceiving, okay? You and him better start laughing. I just believe that laughing is just very healthy, just as much as all the other stuff. Laughing is very, very nourishing. Last but not least on the yes list is orgasms. Those are really important when it comes to conceiving. I think that I saw a study that stated that having an O actually helps when it comes to a successful fertilization. I believe it. I think that there is a huge difference when it comes to having that O and making a baby. This taps into exploring with your partner. I think that you guys should be exploring anyway, but if you are not having an O, that also could play a role in health of your eggs and your womb, which also goes hand in hand in releasing traumas as well. So if you haven't had an O, time to start studying and start exploring so you can have that O. The more O's in the world, the better the world would be. Just like I touched on the morals and the values of your partner when it came to the men, the same thing goes for us women. This is really, really important because we are going to need to be held and supported throughout pregnancy and postpartum. It's very important that you have a surrounding of people that genuinely care about you and they care about the life force within you. Make sure you are very, very intentional about the person that you are choosing to have a child with. That person is going to intake a lot of things that you might be going through. You might even be going through a process of shedding your old self, and you're going to feel certain things that you never used to feel before holding a life force within you. That's not only yours. Your partner is going to have to hold that space for you. It's just what it is. That's honestly the reality of it. After going through like multiple pregnancies myself, I definitely recognize that there is something that happens to the woman that doesn't happen unless she is pregnant. When it comes to your lifestyle and things that you are going to have to be intentional about, your self-love and just the awareness of self. What are things that you might be doing in your day-to-day that are not for your greater good? You know in your heart of heart what it is that you are doing that you possibly could be doing better. Just make a change on those things. You are stepping into motherhood, and motherhood starts at conception. You're going to want to work on yourself in all ways that you possibly can. Your morals, your values, your daily routine, things like that. Self-doubt, lack of confidence, worries, things like that. Those are things that you're going to want to work on because these will inevitably come up during your pregnancy and postpartum, and they are going to be very, very loud. You're going to want to work on them anyway. Preconception, you're just going to want to work on them. Especially if you are in a relationship, both of you are going to want to work on strengthening that relationship. Ask each other questions, certain things that you feel like you guys can make a change for the better. Start doing it now. Okay, now I'm going to touch on herbs for preconception and your hormone health and your egg vitality as a woman. Red raspberry, I feel like we all know about this one. Red raspberry. Fenugreek, my favorite. My favorite. If you know, you know. Fenugreek is just one of those things that just gets me right. When it comes to my libido, like if I need a little fenugreek got me. If I need my skin to be clear, fenugreek got me. If I need my breasts to be plump, fenugreek got me. It helps with milk supply as well. Fenugreek is also good for hormone balancing. Milk thistle, goji berries, maca root. Maca root is another one of my favorites. It tastes so good. If you're lacking energy, go for maca root. Dong quai, black cohosh, ashwagandha. These things will all support your hormones. They support the vitality of your eggs, and you as a woman, all your womanly needs, these herbs provide you with what you need. Supporting the development of the embryo is crucial at this time. The first trimester is so important. So what you want to be consuming when it comes to food, you want to eat foods that are rich in folate, protein, calcium, and iron. And you want to include a prenatal, teas, you want to drink your herbs, and magnesium. All of these things together make a potent elixir when it comes to the stamina and the health of the embryo. You want to consume these things preconception anyway. I would start taking a prenatal preconception as well, drinking your herbs, all of the things. But first trimester, these things are extremely, extremely important because they are what directly impacts the state of that embryo. Protein is for cell growth of the baby. Cells are you. Calcium is for bone development. Calcium is not only from milk, y'all, okay? You can find calcium in a lot of other things other than milk. I think when people think of calcium, they automatically think, oh, I need to drink more milk. No, calcium is in a bunch of other stuff. I didn't write it down, but you can look it up. Foods rich in calcium. Iron, okay? Iron supports the increase in blood supply as the woman carrying the baby. Blood is very, very important, okay? You want your blood to be rich, and iron is what supports that richness in your blood. Iron also is what keeps you warm-bodied, okay? You want to remain warm. You want your baby to be warm in your womb. You could always use more iron. As a woman, you could always use more iron because we have our menstrual cycle, so that is something that we will always need. Herbs to take in the first, well, all trimesters, honestly, but first trimester, you want to start your herbs right away. Okay, every single day of your pregnancy, you need to be drinking some type of tea. Some herbs that I took during my pregnancies took a blend of Seamoss and Nettle that really, really helped me with my iron, my minerals, all of the things paired with the prenatal. Like those together just do what needs to be done for the body. Red raspberry, Moringa, tree of life, of course. Nettle, like I mentioned, nettle is really, really good for you. Dandelion root is also really, really good for you. Also, alfalfa. Alfalfa is good for birth. It helps prevent the possibility of hemorrhaging. If I were to pick like my top 3 herbs in that list, I would go with Seamoss, Nettle, Dandelion root. I would go with those 3. Your third trimester. What you want to do in the third trimester, obviously you want to continue what you've been doing, eating all the proteins, eating all of the good stuff, the salad. You're staying hydrated, so you're drinking the coconut water, you're drinking plenty of water, you're eating plenty of fruits, things that are naturally hydrating you. You've just been eating really, really good, and I mean healthy eating. Not eating a bunch of junk, but we should already know this by now, right? In the third trimester, you want to load up on as much iron as you can because you are now about to release the baby. And with release comes releasing blood. So you want to make sure that you are loaded up with iron so you can prevent hemorrhaging. You also want to start taking magnesium. Magnesium is, I believe, like one of the top vitamins, minerals that your body needs, especially with child. Anytime I take magnesium, I just feel like on 10. I don't know what it is about it, but magnesium is also really, really good for you, especially in the third trimester when you are about to birth. Stretching, you want to be so stretched out, okay, in the third trimester. I know it's tough because you are just pregnant AF. you got this big old belly, you feel like you can't stretch anymore. No, you need to stretch some more. Touch them toes. I know it's hard with the belly in front of you. Bend down, try to touch your toes, reach up to the sky, stretch your back, stretch your shoulders, do all the stretching that you can, because you inevitably are going to be stretched out in birth, okay? And you want to make sure that you are preparing the body for the ultimate stretch. Next, when it comes to the other side of things, I think that you should be praying. Whatever force that you believe in, I think that now is the time to just give thanks and pray, because you're going to go into a state of mind where you are in between life and death, especially in the transition phase in birth. You're gonna need it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having gratitude for holding life and bringing life. Even if you don't believe in like a higher power, whatever the case may be, just being grateful for the moment that you are in and the fact that you are about to bring life. I think bringing life is a privilege. I think we as women are super powerful for being able to even do what we do. Next, I am going to touch on postpartum. Postpartum in and of itself can be a video on its own. Postpartum, you want to continue consuming all that you have been consuming, plus warm soups. You want to make sure you're continuing to take your herbs and your prenatals even postpartum, because you have just gone through a huge release, and with release, you're also releasing nourishment that you once had with the baby, and now you're feeding your baby directly from your body. Your baby was already taking from you within the womb, but your baby is going to continue to take from you. And that is if you are breastfeeding. Even if you're not breastfeeding, energetically, that baby's still gonna be taken from you, and you're gonna wanna continue to nourish yourself anyway, so you have the energy and the stamina to care for your baby. Directly postpartum, the main thing that I was consuming was warm soups. I love lentil soup, just stews loaded with a bunch of vegetables, things like that, broth, warm teas, all things warm after you give birth. This is really important when it comes to blood flow. You don't want stagnation in the body, especially postpartum. Hydration, hydration, hydration for your milk supply. Coconut water. Coconut water is my favorite when it comes to hydrating myself. Coconut milk is another thing. I drink coconut milk and my breast is full within 5 minutes after drinking the coconut milk. Coconut milk is powerful. Another thing is the herbs that help with milk supply include fenugreek and nettle. Those two right there. Fenugreek is my favorite. Yeah, those just get me and my milk right. And fun fact, milk is produced from the contents of your blood, not directly from the contents of your stomach. This is major information. It is even more important to remain nourished postpartum as it was conception, preconception, and pregnancy, because your baby is taking nutrients from your blood. We want to make sure our blood is nourished. So just continue to do all of the things that I went over in this video, and y'all will be a-okay. So I hope that the information that I shared with you provided some insight, maybe opened up your eyes a little bit when it comes to what you need for creating life and growing life and birthing life. These are things that I personally have done for myself. I have had 2 successful wild pregnancies and births, and these things have healed me preconception, all throughout pregnancy and postpartum. I am still doing all of the things, and I feel great. I look great. You know what more can I say? I think the proof is definitely in my pudding, and I just want others to also have proof in their pudding too. So thank you for those of you that have watched the video throughout in entirety. I am sprinkling all the baby dust on you, and if you are trying to conceive a baby, if you're just here because you like to learn about all things birth, pregnancy, like myself, then I hope you enjoyed. I hope I provided you with maybe some new information that you didn't know about. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.